Hello everybody, welcome to Mr. Go channel. Today we're going to explore how do I study for SRQ Question A. SRQ stands for Structured Response Question, and how do you do that? Let's find out. There are many steps to answer how to answer SRQ A, and first of all we start with analysis of the question, which is about the issue and the abstract, followed by the question type, which are usually revolve around the cause, the effect, and the solution. When we study for SRQ, you need to understand the question. And so how exactly do you understand the question? We start with the question. We start with question 2, which tells you that it is a question number. Often students might mistake this for the issue itself, which is incorrect. This is actually the question number. The issue, however, will be being part of a globalized world. So this will be an issue. Usually there will be 3 issues. This will be the third one. Next, we will have the extract. The extract is usually something of a pictorial source, of a textual source, or perhaps is of a graphical nature. So you can actually see that the tip here is that you cannot use the words in the answer that you will be giving, but you can rephrase them as part of your answer. So smart nation Singapore is a fixed technical term. You can use it, but the idea of many smart ideas or one smart nation is not meant to be used. Okay, so actually I explain the definition of what is a smart nation. It's the Singapore government initiative to transform the economy, government and society through technology. And this is perhaps the definition, and you shouldn't be using it. Instead, you should be rephrasing it before we actually go on to the question. So, what is the purpose of the abstract? The purpose is TT. It's not what you think, but it is the topic trigger. It's to trigger the topic that is related to what you will be answering in a very short while. So you need to understand that there are 3 question types. There is the cause, there is the effect, and there is the solution. To answer SRQ question A, you need 2 types of content. You need the dynamic content and you need the core content. So let's take a look at the dynamic content. First, for dynamic content, you need the ideas, thoughts, observation of your society happening that support your understanding, and this is definitely not found in your course book. What you need is prior or general knowledge which you will acquire along the way, and you can use it for your English as well. We have a number of sources. We are looking at the mainstream sources, the alternate sources, and the overseas sources. Some say that they are also considered as alternate sources as well, but I like to differentiate them. So the mainstream sources are usually those that come from Straits Times, is one major source. You can look at the link there. The other one is the mainstream source. It belongs to Channel News Asia. And usually I like to go to either the Singapore page or the international page. Next, alternate sources. We are exploring mothership.sg. This is one that relates to perhaps entertainment news and news that revolve around Singapore as well. Another alternate source of news about Singapore is The Independent. So you can actually explore the news sources there. And last but not least, we have the alternate media, which is called Rise Media. It has quite a number of interesting stories that normally the mainstream sources won't be reporting, such as Carousel having a thriving black magic market. Is that okay? So we touch on areas around society issues. Next, we have international sources where we talk about BBC or the British Broadcasting Corporation, where we talk about international news, which you should be aware of as well because they do affect Singapore. Another source is The Economist, and that will bring us to 3 types of sources. We're talking about mainstream, alternate, and overseas. It allows you to have a broader perspective. And following that, we move on to the effect, where we talk about the impacts of a certain solution. Next, we come to what are the cause effects that we can talk about. Cause effect, we usually use the sphere of influence. We talk about individual, which relates to community, followed by government, followed by global. Government sometimes revolve around national, so that way government and national sometimes seems to coincide. Last but not least, we come to the solution. We are not talking about what kind of water solution. We are talking about GEM. Yes, we have the mind, reality, power, space, time, and soul GEM. It actually represents 3 words. It represents the government laws, it represents education, and last but not least, represents money. ka-ching. So, government laws. When Singaporeans or people who live in Singapore flout the laws, they will be penalized in terms of fines, in terms of jail terms, in terms of perhaps even capital punishment if it's serious enough a crime. So, we have fines for errant road cyclists to be doubled, new rule to cap size of cycling groups. So, this is to reduce the number of cycling groups by increasing the fine. Perhaps it acts as a deterrent to prevent people from cycling dangerously as a group on the road. Next, we talk about education, where we target different groups of students, your primary, secondary, and even tertiary students learning about certain issues. So this is by the Public Utility Board, and they work with the Ministry of Education to educate and excite students on the water topic, which is a major issue for Singaporeans. So these are the different areas that they actually be learning. So education is one big area where you can use to act as a solution. Last but not least, we talk about money, where we talk about the one that makes the world go round. So, under the National Population and Talent Division, we are a nation that is prosperous, and yet things can be quite expensive for a married couple and especially for your parents. So, in lieu of that, especially during the COVID situation, the government actually came up with a recent measure such as giving $3,000 in addition for baby support grant. Take note, it's a support grant to support raising a child, and some say it may take even nearly 300,000 to raise a child. In this case, they actually give a lot of subsidies and allowance, so that in terms of housing grants, 160,000 grants, and it raised the income ceiling. And next we have give to, in terms of subsidies for education and preschool, you have increased subsidies up to 80%. So they'll be giving up to $180,000 worth of subsidies for preschool and education. This shows how much the Singapore government really wants you to have a child when you are of a suitable age, that is. So next, they give you Medisave maternity package up to $900 for pre-delivery medical expenses, which can be quite expensive if you are even going on to private, where we're talking about maybe $3,000 to even $4,000. And next, we have 4,000 Medisave grants, and we up to 10,000 baby bonus cash gift for one baby, and 16 weeks of maternity leave, and this is paid for by the government. So they really want you to have a child, and money seems to be the solution they use to increase Singapore population. How do you collate your information? You can use a table. Well, not really this table, but this table. What do you do with the table? You insert information here. So when you collate the information, it looks like from different issues, issue 1, issue 2, and issue 3. And under each issue, you have different chapters followed by the article title, and you have a one-line summary, which is to summarize the facts and statistics that you can use as a specific example. You can, at this point, pause the video, go and watch the video on how to answer SRQ questions, and this will let you have a clearer idea of the specific example. And last but not least, please put the link there so that you may choose to go back and refresh your information from time to time. So the link will give you a better idea if, let's say, you miss out on certain details and you want to find the information again. So see the link below and you will find a sample of the chart. You may download it and use it for your own learning purposes. Last but not least, do not just read for the sake of social study, but the sake of your interest as well. What you're interested in, please go ahead and read it, and on top of that, read broadly, and this will help you in your SRQ. So we have come to the end. I hope this helps you, and please like and subscribe. Thank you and have an awesome day.